It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission at the end of the day is to provide you, the hard-working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. On this episode, we have the one and only Dr. Natalie Halloran. Did I get that right?
Hollering, like you're yelling holla.
Halloran, that's right. Halloran, holla. She's in the building, and she'll be talking about leadership and action, how you can be influential and have impact and get results. I mean, leaders getting results sounds like, I don't know. We'll find out what that's about. What's up, Dr. Natalie? How you doing?
Hello, I am great, and hope you're doing just as well.
I'm doing well. It's an honor and a pleasure to see you again, this time through these fiber optic lines, although I did get a chance to meet you in person. I don't get a chance to meet many folks, but you and I did get a chance to meet, which is pretty cool. Before we jump into how famous you are, because people read your bio, I'm sure, to get to that good stuff and all the good work you've done, we're talking about leadership in action, but you've got something here a little different. You said you could be influential and impactful. Take a moment, if you would, and define what does influential mean and what's your view of the world so we can all be on the same page.
Oh, thank you so much for asking that question, because so often people think of being an influencer on TikTok and social media, but whether you're a solopreneur or you're leading a team in an organization as an executive leader, you need to have influence. And when I say influence, I mean, how well do your people follow you? Are you leading in a way that others would love to support you, do whatever you ask them to do, as long as you provide support? So having influence means they believe in you, they trust in you, and know that you have their best interests. So you pretty much influence them to do what needs to be done.
What do you say first before we get into folks in the corporate side? We have two types of folks that watch this. We have some folks that are working full-time jobs and they're full-time entrepreneurs. Shout out to all the dualpreneurs out there, by the way. And we have other people that are leading organizations and leading companies. Let's talk to first the entrepreneur spirited folks out there. They're saying, hey, Shay, before she gets into leadership, what is her view on the world on how do you lead people who don't directly report to you, Shay? I've got some folks, they're subcontractors. I got other folks over here I got a partner through. I'm working with other folks as part of a team. Does she have any advice for entrepreneurs that got to try to impact and influence people who they don't directly report to them and they don't really, quote unquote, write their check every single week?
Absolutely. And that's one or part of what I discuss in my book, Leadership in Action, because part of being an actionable and influential leader means you're setting the tone at the beginning. Everyone knows exactly what's expected, the timeline, and when it needs to be done. And you have regular checkpoints to check in to ensure that they're on track for producing the results that's required, as well as the aligned understanding is there. So you can't just meet someone or assign something, someone is working off site or even on site, and expect things to be done just because you say it needs to be done. There needs to be checkpoints, and you need to provide guided support along the way.
And before we get into your backstory, because we do want to get to your backstory and how you got started and why you're so passionate about this, what do you say to the person that's saying, you know, they're very experienced, they're responsible for a company, or they run an organization, and they might have multiple levels as a leader? Now, and again, this is a loaded question because I know y'all are all different organizations, different places, different structures. But if you had to step back and talk about leadership and action, what's one or two ideas you give to that seasoned person that is now developing other leaders? Does that make sense? So they're responsible not just for getting the results, but they got to develop other leaders so they can be better leaders. What's one or two ideas you recommend to that person?
But the two things I recommend, the first thing that I've learned is something that I'm really supporting a lot of executive leaders on right now is you have to know your people. You have to know their styles. How do they react under pressure? And I do a lot of that through the DISC assessment and behavior analysis where it works on alignment. That's another whole discussion, I'm sure. But you have to know your people and hold growth sessions with them, as well as goal setting and ensuring that you're providing, which is one thing that I've learned as a former chief of human resources. You have to evaluate your team so they can know that they are moving in the right direction and you're providing the support that they need to be successful in their role.
I promise, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to her backstory, but I'm curious, what's maybe one viable sign or one thing that a leader should look for to kind of really see that leadership is working inside of the team? Is there a sign? Is there a guidepost? Is there, I don't know, a KPI?
Performance objectives are being met. Your expectations, when you evaluate them, they're producing the results. If you evaluate them and let's just say they're not performing, you're providing resources and support to make them successful, to help build their capacity and grow, you'll see shifts in the positive trajectory that shows that action is occurring and the capability and capacity of your team member that you're leading is successful.
Take a moment if you could. You just jump right out there. Thanks a lot. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We'll ask maybe this example where she had the lead and it was under pressure. Some of you might be wondering about pressure. Say, well, all this sounds good in the perfect world, but how does she handle pressure and chaos that's going on in the office? We'll get to that in a moment. But first, we'll slow down and then we'll speed back up. Take a moment, Dr. Natalie, if you can. A number of folks really don't know who you are. As famous as you are, by the way, they're hearing your voice for the first time. Maybe they're in the kitchen cooking dinner right now. Shout out. Thank y'all for watching. Maybe you're in the gym or maybe you're driving down the road and you're listening to us in your car and your iPod or AirPods right now. We appreciate you. Take a moment, if you would, and tell them what's the backstory. Who is Dr. Natalie? And then what was that defining moment that really led her to being so passionate about making sure leadership is all about being in action and impactful?
Thank you so much. This is a very long 34-year career, and I'll just give you the short version. I started out as a teacher many years ago and progressed along the way for being a specialist to a school administrator to working at the school administration building where I manage grant funding and people and teams over $30 million. And then I say, you know what, let me just shift a little bit and kind of go to the state level and kind of see how states provide support to schools from being on the opposite end. So then I joined the Virginia Department of Education, where I was a lead coordinator and supported schools and divisions and staff that were in improvement and needed support. And then I got to a point where I said, you know what, it's not always about the compliance piece. I miss being part of the solution and providing that leadership that was so needed in organizations to be successful. So then I transitioned back, and before I last year took the big leap to transition from public sector to private sector, I was an assistant superintendent of human resources, did a lot of work and support with teams and schools in that area, as well as building the capacity of organizational leaders. And then my last stop was a chief of human resources.
So you've had opportunity to run the whole gamut and be in multiple positions along this journey of life. What's one of the toughest decisions that you ever had to make, if you had to make any, as a leader? And what was the lesson you learned from it?
Actually, it was the same scenario when I transitioned as a leader in a different organization. When you join an organization as a leader, you're brand new to the team does not know you, and oftentimes you're replacing someone or following someone who, if not retired, they were maybe helped out or knew it was time for them to get on a different bus in a team. So right away, I knew in order for them to gain my trust and know that I could make an impact on helping them be successful, as well as the organization and the team growing, I met with everyone individually. You know, we had their goal setting moment. How can I be there to support you? And then throughout that time and throughout the couple of months or so, I would touch bases with them, evaluate them, look at their performance, meet up with them to see what can I do to support you? Because that's one of the biggest things. Organizational leaders need to let their team know that I got your back. When you have their back and provide their support, build their capacity, and help them grow, then you'll be successful no matter what. Because that's where that influential part come in. They really trust in you. You've modeled the behavior to show that you have their best interests, and you're giving them the resources and tools to be successful, as well as guiding them through some of the expectations that you have for them in projects and assignments. then that's where the success come from in being an impactful and influential leader. Because of course, if your team is moving in the right direction, then an organization is going to have better performing employees, employee wellness, which is what my second book is about right now, the employee wellness piece, retention and profit for the organization.
And we say employee wellness. Tell me a little about that. Is that a work-life balance? Because I'm not sure, well, yeah, what's your perspective? When you say employee wellness, take a moment and kind of peel the onion for that one, if you would, for us.
But what I do now is I work a lot with organizational leaders in various areas. And one of the areas I'm really supporting them on is the employee assistance program, as well as balancing that out with the employee needs. Because there needs to be not so much a work-life balance, because I don't believe there's always a good balance. Everything is situational that happens in life as well as on the job. So an organization can be supportive by providing resources and support and assistance so employee well-being can be in the positive and on the uprise. For example, I talked about evaluations. If an employee gets evaluated, you provide resources for them to be supportive, to be effective, then that means they're going to perform. Their well-being and doing their job, they feel secure because they received support. They weren't afraid to come to you because you've established that rapport that shows, I got you. Let's just say an employee is going through some mental health things. There are a lot of organizations, not a lot, in every organization, there are people who are going through, mental health awareness, things going on at home, things going on with life, and it's hard. So if we're ensuring that we align the resources, if someone needs a day off, if they need some time to get some things in order so they can come back and be a productive employee, then it's up to that organization to ensure that they have an employee assistance program in place to ensure that well-being of their employee. So by ensuring that your employees' well-being is in place, you're providing the resources and support for them to be effective. Then of course assists with retention, and there goes profit going up because you don't have to spend so much money hiring, recruiting, because you're not supporting the well-being of your employee by having various measures in place for them to be successful. And you have to hire and advertise and put all that money into training someone and they're gone. So if you look at the overall well-being that an organization is providing to support their employees, and I look at it at a different angle, and that's what the next book I'm working on now is about, aligning it, the benefits to an organization with employee well-being from various aspects.
I love it, by the way. Thanks a lot for sharing, and thanks for being so transparent. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing right now? Because, when you start talking about this leadership, it's like you just light up. Like there's energy here, and you're like, shit, I was born to do this. I love this. Whether y'all believe me or not, this is what I'm doing out there. I guess the question really is for folks that are watching, what do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days?
I like seeing individuals and organizations that I provide support to just light up and say, thank you for being that thought partner, because I'm an executive coach to many. I'm a team coach. So I hear from individuals, organizations who say, thank you for helping be that thought partner to help get us moving in the right direction, or helping me get clarity on how I can move my team forward, as well as a lot of executive leaders like support and coaching for themselves. And as I said, I'm a DISC certified trainer. So with a lot of organizations, I go in and administer the DISC assessment. That's a behavioral assessment. And we look at look at the report of the employees and look at how the different styles and how their team work to see how they can work better together based off their various styles. Because a lot of times oftentimes communication is one of the biggest barriers to organizations and individuals being successful. And when you learn and know how to communicate and adapt to the various styles of your team, then everybody can get on one accord and success occurs.
And one of the favorite questions I love to ask, and we have a few moments, and it might be a good segue to a segment we have here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I know you wait for this moment just to say those words. Today is my January 1st. And for all the new folks who are tuned in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Today is my January 1st is our personal mantra at the show. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is or how bright and sunny that past is back there, the past really no longer equals the future. And so my question for Dr. Natalie is on the other side. And it's two parts. Number one, just when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what even goes through your mind? And number two, what was a time where you had a setback, where you tried to do something and it just didn't work out? And how were you able to bounce back from it, if it's ever happened? Maybe your life's been perfect. We'll find out in a moment. But if not, what was a challenge you had?
Okay, well, the January 1st, as I say, I took the leap last year and transitioned from being working on the public sector to private sector. So I still have that January 1st reset. I'm able to now focus on helping individuals and teams align their purpose with the work that they're doing in an aligned accord. So that's my January 1st, and being seen as being impactful and being able to provide them with the needed resources and support that they've always been looking for. So I'm that short partner, as I always say, to lots of individuals and organizations for that positive trajectory. In a time that was, I guess, kind of difficult, I will always say the times when I've transitioned to higher leadership. Because, we all step into it saying, we wanted this. We wanted to be an assistant superintendent or a chief, but now I'm there. And you have the team. And not that I ever doubted my capabilities, because I wouldn't have, or you could probably tell I'm a very confident person. And I always believe in, if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer and then go do what needs to happen. But making sure that I connect with the team and wanting the team to know that I have your best interests. We are an actual team, and wanted them to know that I'm here to support you. And my evaluations of you and observations of you are not gotcha moments. It's I'm here to support you based off your goals and the expectations in your current role. And this is what I'm going to do to support you along the way so that we all can be successful. So that's how I've kind of handled and addressed various positions. Because so often leaders go in with, I'm the leader, you know what you need to do, and just make it happen. But we're not always equipped. We step into roles. I've noticed the higher position you get, you don't always get that guidance and support because they expect you to know. So you need to make sure that you provide that support and resources to the individual organization that you're supporting so everyone can be successful.
I love it. I love how you keep saying everyone's successful. It's not a win. It's always a win-win situation when you're talking to you. I like that. I like the language that you're using. Absolutely. One of the questions I like to ask when we have a couple of minutes now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? And I like to follow up with the audience so they understand you're not an in-the-box person, right? You probably watch more videos you can remember these days. You've had more mentors along this journey of life. I'm sure you didn't get here by yourself, read countless books. But if you had to step back and say, man, this is one of the best pieces of advice I've been given that I want to pass to someone else, what would it be and why?
Actually, there are two. The first thing is stay focused, because so often it's easy to be on a path, something will happen, and life happens. Is all what you see in graduate classes and coworkers. Life happens. So just stay focused, get back on that path when you fall off, because tomorrow is a new day. And the second thing I like to share is networking is a big key. Because so often people don't want to share and collaborate with others because they're afraid that someone's going to take their idea, take their knowledge, run off with it. But relationships and networking I found to be a great key, and what I've been able to grow tremendously with my organization. And I'm just excited about that.
And that excitement comes across in your conversations, by the way. So I love it, by the way. And as you step back, if someone had to take away one big takeaway from this episode that they're having now, that's a tall order, I know, because you've had so many golden nuggets. But you say, look, Shay, if you're a leader out there, and I want you to talk to two folks, because, ladies and gentlemen, she's not an in-the-box person. So one thing I would take away with, if you're new to this, for some folks might be, less than leading a real team or organization less than 5 years. Let's call it a newbie, okay? Even though you might be very experienced in life, maybe you just reach to that point, you're like, wow, I'm that person now. And then also to the seasoned person, You said something earlier, which was some cool stuff. But you say, hey, Shay, I want them to walk away with this as they leave out here. What would it be?
If you're the individual person who is just starting out, I would say gather as much information as possible. Do
Good
lots of
answer.
reading. Stay connected to professional organizations. Oh my goodness. Professional organizations is where you'll stay connected and just jump out there. I've jumped out there. For example, I've done training over the past couple of months with some top construction teams on human resources and employee assistance program alignment. And some will come to me and say, well, you don't have a construction background. I say, but human resources and employee wellness and leadership is across all sectors. So don't be afraid to jump out into another sector in your area, with expertise so you can provide support across the board. And if you're a seasoned leader, I recommend that you really take a look at your team. How well are you supporting your team so that they can be successful? And are you continuing or need to start building their capacity as well as you're building yours in the organization so everyone can be successful? And I'm
Well
that
said, by the
person.
way. Go ahead. Would you say?
I'm that person that can support both groups. I've navigated the business world when I transitioned to the private sector last year, and I can really support individuals on navigating through and bypassing some of the bumps that I occurred, as well as
Perfect
seasoned
timing.
leaders. I've been an executive leader for 20 years. I've been the coordinator. I worked at the school, the state level, local level. I worked at all various levels. So there's not much I have not experienced in leadership that I'm that thought partner for you to help you get to the next level.
Fantastic. What does success look like for you these days?
Success looks like those who I support being successful. When individuals that I coach go in and do team training with either themselves or their organizations, when they're successful, I'm successful because I feel that void or provided that support or assistance that they needed to get to the next level or to take action on something and get results.
Okay. And when you're not out saving the world, making a difference for everybody else, what do you do for fun? When you're just sitting back, just trying to get a little pleasure out of life, what does fun look like for you?
Exercise, lots of cycling classes. I spend cycling. That's my time to just get in there and I just get in there and all my thoughts are just going. Plus, I like to read a lot, just like to try to read a lot and also just get out and network. A lot of social events. I love going to social events and just meeting other people, sometimes out of my own, not league, but area or sector, and just connecting with individuals. That's my biggest thing, my biggest joy, because you learn from others so often. You just don't, you go there just expecting to meet people, but you leave there with so much more, so much more.
Yes, indeed. So true. Folks may want to connect with you and work with you. And so as we come down the home stretch, it's really a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days, if any? And number two, how can folks connect with you? They say, hey, I want to connect with her. I like what I'm hearing. Where should they go? What should they do?
Okay, we work with individuals and organizations. We work with individuals who are solopreneurs who are trying to get to that next level and get everything in line and in order so they can start getting out here and being successful and putting themselves out there. We work with organizations who have individuals such as a leader who wants to improve their skill set and being a leader and impactful with their team. And we support teams as well, because a lot of work that we do is a team setting. And when teams can connect and do lots of team building and coaching and looking at what makes each other kind of tick, as they say, everyone is successful. And to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Dr. Natalie Halloran. Just look me up. Is Dr. Dr. Natalie is Natalie, and Halloran is Halloran. You can also go to our website, which is tillhallenterprise.com, and that is TILLHALL enterprise without the S.com. And we'd love to
Well, let me
connect
see.
with you. And also, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go
And I
ahead.
was
Finish.
going to
Let
say,
them know.
2 months ago, my latest book was released, Leadership in Action, How to Be Impactful and Influential in a Results-Driven Culture, which has a step-by-step guide, whether you're a new leader or an emerging leader or a seasoned leader. So you can check that out on Amazon as well. Just look up Dr. Natalie Halloran Books.
I'm about to go there and say, how can you not tell them about the book? That's what we started talking about, the
Yes.
book at the beginning with. So let me say two things. Number one, thank you for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it. Can't wait to see you again in person and connect with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to viewers. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because, well, without you, we don't have a show, by the way. So I never get tired of reminding you, every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, whether you're doing really, really well and you're going to that next level of success, or if you've been hit with the punch that you never saw coming. The one thing I do believe is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. I'm out. Dr. Natalie's on the other side. Peace. God bless. Keep doing God's work. We out of here. Bye-bye.